Hello, Hans Westerman here. We are going to continue with Blender, this time working with the box modeling technique in order to create a table. And the primary tool that we will be using will be extrude. So let's get to it. We can start out first by deleting the cube, which is generated automatically by hitting X and selecting delete. I'm going to move up to add and mesh and plane. From here, I'll hit the tilde sign key and select view selected in order to bring it closer to me for view. And then I will hit the tab key to bring us from the object mode to the edit mode. Hitting the 3 numeric key will bring us into the faces mode. From here, I can right-click and I want to do a subdivision, which is going to be, once we click on the menu in the lower left-hand side of the viewport, number of cuts, increasing it from 1 to 6 for what it is that I want to do here. Now what I can do is hit the number 2, which will bring us to the edges, and we can see what we have here. We're not quite ready actually to go into working with the edges as of yet. So what I'm going to do here is go again back to the object mode by hitting tab and selecting the object. I will move to the scale tool and move it up like this, so we have a surface that would be essentially what you would consider to be an appropriate size for a kitchen tabletop. Next, what I'm going to do is hit tab, back to the edit mode. This time I want to work from the top, so I am going to go to Z. Alternatively, I could hit again the tilde and hit top. And from here, I will start out by holding down the Alt key, clicking on 1, which gives me the edge loop, Alt Shift, appending another edge loop, the scale tool, make sure that we are in the median point, which would be the common center between those things selected, and we're going to pull this out in the X axis. I'll do the same thing here, Alt Shift, and in the Y. This is the edge of the table that I'm looking at. Next, I'm going to build what will be the frame that the tabletop will sit on. Alt Shift, and with a thickness of about like this, maybe. Alt Shift, same width, so it would be the same all the way around. And last, we are going to define where the table legs are actually going to be extruded from. Alt Shift, about like this, and then Alt Shift, and now we have approximately there. Okay. So what I'm going to do here also is I'm going to go back into the object mode, and just expand this just slightly, just like that. Okay. And I can adjust these things right here, Alt, and this one as well. I think that looks pretty good, but it would be these right here that I would want to take. So it would be Alt, and then Alt Shift. So it's a little bit more square. Okay, so now I think I'm okay. All right, next up, middle mouse button, holding that down, and it gives me the ability to scroll like this. The underside is visible, and what we want to do in this case is go to the viewport shading menu. This one's selected. There are 3 to select from. This one is the default arrow down to the drop-down menu and backface culling. What this does is it only shows the visible side, which is the positive side of the normal. This is the normal. This is the back side, which generally speaking you wouldn't be rendering or showing anyway. We're going to add some thickness now to this table. First by going to the edit mode, which we're already in actually, and I'm going to hit Z first. Actually, in this case, we don't even have to do what it was that I was going to do, but we'll continue here. 3, select all the polygons. I'm going to hit W so that I'm in the selection mode. But what I can do is hit E as an extrude, and there, if I were to drag this down, you can see that this is turning this inside out. That's why we want to have the backface culling on. But if I pull it in the other direction, you're going to see that we maintain the solid. We can flip the normals, but that we're not interested in because we know which direction we need to be going. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what we have here. First thing I want to do is select these faces, which is going to be the frame as well as these squares, which is going to be where the table legs are going to be extruded from. So I start out by selecting 1, Shift, and I can just go all the way around like this. There could be another way where you can get a selection between 2 that are done, but I'm not exactly sure how to do that, so I'll do it like this. Now, the spot where the table legs are going to be extruded, hit the letter E key, and now we can pull this down just slightly. So now we have both the tabletop and we have the frame. So let's start out with the legs now. Shift for all these 4 that are going to be extruded. E key, bring that down just about like this. Next, what we're going to do is hit scale, and before what we had done is we had been working with the median point, which will draw everything to a common center like this, which we don't want to do. Instead, what we're going to do is change that to the individual origin, and we can now scale these down in place. X, Y, and Z is what we want to do here. So let's try this one more time. Actually, it's X and Y, like this. And we're going to do some shaping here. Next, E again. Bring this down slightly. And then again, scale out here, like this. And X and Y. E, bring this down again. E, once again. X and Y. And I'm going to move this up just slightly as well too. So we have a little footy. E, bring it down. And then scale once again. X and Y, just like this. E, bring it down a tad. We're going to scale once again, X and Y, about like this. Move it up a tad also so it's a little bit more flat, just about like that. And then X once again, and we're going to stay in the move. So now, if you take a look at this, we've created quite easily this table by working with the extrudes. This is one type of box modeling. Now let's say that we want to have like these table legs right here, rounded, transitioning from rectangular to the circular. What we can do is this. But before we do that, what we want to do is maybe add actually, I think the circular is, we're not going to worry about that right now. We can take care of that at another time. All right, so that is pretty much what I was going to show you, and that's it. One last thing. Let's say if I wanted to save this table, File, Save As. In this case, you can see that I have Blender scenes. If we go up one step, like this, if I go to the desktop and I go to Blender Project Folder Structure, you can see that I have some folders here that I've set up. Scenes is where you would save the blend file. But like I was saying, what I'm going to do here is just stick with what I had before, scenes, and I'm going to go down to table 4, plus would be 5, and save.